last episode of Season 1 of the Orville aired tonight, and it was another solid episode. It wasn't one of my favorite episodes, and it wasn't one that had things I had a lot of issues with. It's kind of right there in the middle, a solid episode, an ensemble piece. This one focused on kind of everybody. Everybody had a part in this story, and then where there's the big kind of payoff at the end of the main plot line, you get some cool visuals and elements in there. So with all that said, I'm going to dive into my review on all this one. Be sure to tell me your thoughts about it down below in the comments section. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Where does it kind of stand? One of the better ones, right there in the middle, worst? All your kind of thoughts on it. And also, I missed reviewing the previous episode. I just got busy, different types of stuff. Justice League came out, so I wasn't able to see it soon enough to do a review for it. And so that's the only reason I do it. It was a fine episode. It's kind of like this one, kind of right there in the middle for me. With that said, let's start talking about the good on this one. So right off the bat, we just get a lot of time with the characters, and that's throughout the show. At times I've had some issues with the characters on here, of them feeling a little bit like setups for jokes rather than full-blown characters. Early on in the show in particular, there was a lot of that. Everyone was based around what the joke was surrounding them. And here we kind of are digging deeper into the characters, their psychology. And so if you go on one of the three main storylines are Lamar, turns out he's smart. He's really smart, and so you kind of learn that about him, that he's intentionally acting stupid. Then we got a plot line where we learn that Kelly is the one that recommended that Ed get the captaincy. And just so you know, this is all going to be spoilers if you didn't know that already. But she's the one that put in the word for him, so that's how he got the position. So then he starts to doubt himself. So there's a whole plot line there where we learn about him, and then, of course, the main plot line of the mystery of what's going on, and then 2D universes and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. But so throughout that, like I said, with the character moments, we kind of really dig in and have something that challenges these characters, that kind of help us to understand why they are the way they are, what makes them tick, what makes them hurt. And so kind of in Lamar, why is he this idiot that, a few episodes back where they're on the planet and he's put on trial and stuff, why is he acting so stupid? Well, this episode kind of gives us where all that's coming from. Why does there's such a disconnect between his intelligence, his behavior, all that fun stuff. Likewise, when it comes to Ed, we learn just kind of how insecure he is. And it's not terribly surprising that fits in what we've known about him, but we kind of see that he suddenly gets really irrational when his insecurities are pushed, because like the idea that someone helped him out to get a position, the idea that someone put in a good word for you, that's totally normal type stuff of how business worlds work, how people get promotions. So the idea that he would then question himself over that just kind of shows the level of insecurity within him. And all the fun that kind of goes along with that. And then we get our main plot line, and once again, they give us a different type of story. And since this one was more character driven, the main plot line seemed a little bit more kind of back burner to me. It was kind of like, okay, yeah, then we're learning a little about what's going on over this other ship. And it's just a setup for Lamar to show us how smart he is and how he's struggling with leadership. But there was still some, like, the visual side to it was actually, it's not like they came up with this brilliant way of doing it, but just showing those types of visuals in this setting was pretty cool. And then the thing to me that just, I thought was great was the music. When they, like, opened to this shot of the 2D world and everything, the music starts playing. I was like, well, this music is really good. Like, I'd always liked the music on the show, but that was the first time I was like, this is legitimately just good music. Like, this fits perfectly. This feels like the music that would be playing if this was being shown in a theater. At the part where they did that, and then it came back and they're looking at it again and the music was playing, I was like, no, this really is good music. So those are the positives, really the character moments, learning about the characters and kind of helping me kind of appreciate them more than I'd kind of had in the past. From there, let's move on to the bad with it. And I think my biggest issue with it is it felt like we had these three storylines, and it felt like I don't think we needed all three in this episode. So the Ed plot line about him doubting himself, I don't know why we needed that in this episode where we're already having this big character study on Lamar and why he's the way he is, in him doubting himself. We don't need to have it's kind of a mirror, but not really a mirror to Ed. It's not Ed's story, so you could have just let that other one tell that and then tell a specific Ed story that would call him into question in regards to all this. And because we're telling these 2 different character-based stories. Everyone's got a part, and Blob Man shows up in it and has a pretty significant role throughout this. This storyline about a 2D universe just becomes backburner, as I mentioned before, and given the music they came up for it and this sort of idea of like, what if there was a 2D reality and how would you we visualize that? That's really interesting. And then someone in it goes, what if there's a 4D universe looking down on us? What if there's a 5D universe looking down on us? That's really interesting. That's something like, yeah, tell that story, do that with it. And because they had all these stories in there, it felt like I didn't think Lamar got shortchanged, but then Ed Wunt didn't feel like it got the time it needed to really explore what they're trying to do with that. And then likewise with the actual main plot line, where I thought they had, especially when, like, I was kind of like, okay, let's get back to the character stuff when they were doing the main plot stuff. Then they get to 2D world, and I was like, I actually would have liked this. I would have liked to have explored this more. So that's kind of my take on a solid episode right there in the middle. The big issue is that it felt like they put too many kind of plots in there. Oh, and one more is that when they started, because there were so many character moments in it, I think you saw the weakness in some of the actors. It felt like they were cast because they're funny and they got kind of a fun charisma and charm to them, even Seth himself. And then when, they're getting mad at people and having to really emote and show depth of emotion, they didn't really sell me on, no, they're actually these deeper actors. And so they're more the funny guy than the serious, I'm mad because I shouldn't be in leadership. And then I am a leader. I didn't quite buy it. It felt a little bit overcooked for me. So anyway, that's kind of my take on the episode. Kind of right there in the middle for me. Nothing that was like a big issue for me. Just some observations about too many plot lines and a little bit of overcooked acting. That is it. And then some cool ideas that I really enjoyed throughout it. How about you? What did you think about it? Tell me down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Have a nice discussion. The previous episode I reviewed had so much discussion about whether it was rapey or not, and people were so many different opinions, and they're like, yes, this episode was so rapey, they should be ashamed of themselves, and a bunch of other people like, are you kidding me? Like, you're too oversensitive, you social justice warrior. And other people like, it's natural. It's kind of offensive to say that a biological species behaving the way it's supposed to is rapey. It's like, we are going all over the place. So we actually got some very lively discussions on that one. This one will probably be a lot more tame and won't be nearly as much fun as that one. But go ahead and tell me down below. And if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos. But the key thing is I don't want to just talk about movies and TV. I want to talk about movies and TV with you. So join me in the comment section. Let's have a lively discussion, and thank you so much for watching.